Hey, it's me, Chris DeMakes, and I'm returning once again to Las Vegas to give guided tours at the Punk Rock Museum. Friday, February 13th, Saturday, February 14th, and Sunday, February 15th. That's right, Valentine's Day weekend 2026. And I can't think of a better gift for your significant other than all of us sharing punk rock memories together. I'll be giving 2 guided tours a day. Get your tickets at thepunkrockmuseum.com. Join me as I guide you through 6 decades of punk rock music, memorabilia, artifacts, musical instruments, merchandise, mementos, and so much more. Get your tickets now at thepunkrockmuseum.com. Can't wait to see you.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Skims or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling and for shoppers buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. It's home of ShopPay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/income.
Hey everyone, this is the first episode of 4, leading up to the Less Than Jake Winter Circus UK Tour. And we kick things off today with Tom McFaull, lead vocalist for the Brighton, England punk rock band, the Bar Stool Preachers. Together we dive deep into the writing, recording, and inspiration behind the brand spanking new single, Pick a Side, from their forthcoming 2026 album. I think this song's a hit, and by hit, I mean an instantly catchy song that upon hearing it for the first time, makes you want to immediately hear it again. This production is fun, aggressive, danceable, and super energetic. Tom credits producer Cameron Webb with capturing the band's raucous live energy, something both Cameron and the band felt they were never able to do before. The sonics here are amazing, yes, but it's the conviction of the lyrics and delivery of the vocals that seal the deal for me. Tom mentioned that he didn't want to mince words with their latest music. He was going to speak up, tell you exactly what's on his mind, and beg of you to pick a side. So for all this, and a lesson in Cockney slang, don't touch that knob, ya yob.
Hey, hey, have you heard? Chris DeMakes a podcast. Hey, hey, have you heard? Chris DeMakes a podcast. Hey, hey, have you heard? Chris DeMakes a podcast. Hey, hey, have you heard? Chris DeMakes a podcast.
Tom, what's up, my friend?
Hey, Chris, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. This is the first episode of our lead up to the Less Than Jake Winter Circus UK Tour, and we have none other than Mr. Tom McFaull from the Bar Stool Preachers.
You do. It's a pleasure to be here. We can't wait for the tour, man. It's going to be killer.
I was talking to the guys recently in Less Than Jake about you, about your band, and someone had mentioned that we played shows together, and you reminded me that we were supposed to in Ireland, but what happened to you guys?
So close. We were so close to playing shows with you back when we were just a baby band, I think. We got our first America tour offer at the same time. So I think we got in touch with management and we were like, hey, we would love to take these shows, but we've been offered 3.5 weeks out in the States. And everyone was luckily very cool about it.
Who was that tour with?
That tour was with, I believe it was with The Interrupters and Bedouin Soundclash. So it was a pretty cool one to be on.
Good. Well, I would have taken that too. At first I was thinking you got promised the moon came over to the States and you were playing, dive pubs to 3 people. You probably should have done the 2 sold out shows in Ireland with us, but I think you made the right move with the Interrupters and Bedouin.
Well, we've been kicking ourselves for about 7 years since going, we're never going to get back on tour with these guys. We love them. We're never going to get the chance. But yeah, we were lucky enough that you guys had us back. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Well, your band rocks. And in researching the episode, I'm a little starstruck. I even asked you, I said, because I've met a lot of people in this business that they have parents that were musicians and maybe they don't want to talk about it for whatever reason. And you're very proud of your father, Colin, who is the singer from UK Oi punk legend Cockspar. I'm like, so stoked.
Yeah, man, I'm incredibly proud of him. It's not something we normally play off of a lot. Like, we don't like to do the coattails thing. But in terms of having a guy to look up to, and in terms of their legacy, their musical career, in my opinion, it don't get much better than that. They have paved the way for melodic punk bands, since the early '70s, since '72. So yeah, incredibly proud to be from his nutsack. It's a good sack to come from. My sisters feel the same way.
I love that. Well, tell your father I said hello, and I'm a fan. That's very, very cool. But this song is awesome. The minute I heard it, okay, and my producer Chris Favalia said the same thing. He's like, "This song is awesome." I immediately picked up on the Cockney accent. And how would you describe Cockney? I know how I would describe it, okay? And my term might come off a little offensive because I'm American. I don't know.
Well, now I want to hear your term. You got to...
Well, I always thought Cockney's like the working class Brit. It's what maybe Americans here would call hillbilly or redneck. Is that right?
That's one way of looking at it. Yeah, absolutely. We're quite proud of that. It's a little bit backwards. It is very working class. It's predominantly and specifically from London, but also from the East End of London. And I think that a really good lens to put it through. My partner Talina. She came and she's been introduced to this big Cockney family, right? So it's very matriarchal. There's loads of strong people throughout it, but we have our own culture, up until the point of having our own language. It's the stupidest language in the world. It's called rhyming slang. I don't know if you know anything about the Cockney rhyming slang.
Sure.
Yeah, but I mean, on the surface and in reality, it's just dumb as shit. Like to say stairs are apples and pears and a hat is a tit for because it's tit for tat, or I haven't got a clue is I haven't got a Scooby because of Scooby Doo. So it's very it's incredibly stupid, but we're very proud of it. So I think that it's actually a culture that's very rich in its heritage and very rich in its tradition, but it's dwindling. With normal globalization and people pushing out of city centres. It used to be quantified by anyone that was born within the sound of the Bow Bells. So anyone was born in the hospitals around there, and you could hear the church bells ringing. From there, you were a Cockney by birth. And my family is from that region, sort of precisely and entirely. Yeah.
Well, I learned a lot about Cockney through one of my favorite bands, which is Snuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Great band. Great band.
So Duncan has given me a crash course in Cockney. And when I use the term hillbilly or redneck, I don't want to have connotations of American flags and guns in the back of pickup trucks. That's not what I'm getting at with that. It's just the working class. It's the rural people. And I make mention of that because you can't have this type of delivery and snarl that you do in this song with a posh British accent, in my opinion. Like, oh, hello, we're gonna go for a tea. Like that's not gonna work with this song.
That wasn't too bad, man. Like, I've heard a lot worse. Even this week, I've heard a lot worse.
You have to have your accent to pull this off. This song is awesome, man. Pick a side. You guys worked with Cameron Webb, which is one of my favorite producers. Cameron just puts great sonics together. And before we move on, my brain is firing 10 miles a minute here. I've had too much coffee. But I do want to give a shout out to your recent marriage to Talina, who plays in Bite Me Bambi. We've had on the show here.
I'm very, very, very proud to call her my wife. She's an incredible musician and an even better person.
Perfect. Well, I wanted to tuck that in. Hello, Talina. I'm sure you'll listen maybe at some point. And I think we're going to see her on the tour here coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. She's going to pop out to a few shows, and then I don't know if it probably is announced. She's doing your Wake and Bake shows in Florida. Is that right?
That's right.
And I might be coming out there to say hi to those ones. So
I love it. Well, that's going to be a really good time. And, we were just talking about Cameron Webb, who's just produced so many great records and bands, Motorhead, Sum 41, Social Distortion. I could go on and on. But the notes you had sent over, because this is a brand new song. I mean, this mix was just finished the first week of January at the top of this year, 2026. You said the track was written in Brighton around August of 2024. So talk about that. Talk about the the inspiration for Pick a Side?
So I actually went back in my notes and found it was written on July 31st, which big shout out every time the date comes out is Tony Sly Day. Because
Yes.
you can't let July 31st pass without, nodding your head. So an incredible songwriter. Yeah, so what's a good way to frame this? There are lots of great writers in the Bar Stool Preachers. We write in lots of different ways. When we first started as a band, we would all get in a room, we would hash out an idea, we would come with a hook, a line, something, and then everyone else would put their ideas in. Now, as the band has grown and as it sort of evolves and we've attracted different musicians to us, we're not all in the same place all the time. So sometimes a song like Pick a Side comes along where one of the musicians in the band will send it to me directly and go, "Hey, I got this idea. I don't know if it's any good or not, but like, listen to this. I think it's pretty killer." So the person behind the music for this song, which isn't always the way, as I say, we always split it out, but was a guy called Alex Hay, and Alex is our keyboardist pianist, and he's probably the only real musician in the Bar Stool Preachers. Now, I say that with a pinch of salt. We all play lots of different instruments. We all can write. But Alex is almost like our Rosetta Stone to music, you know? So he having the ability to be a classically trained pianist, he'll go, "This makes sense," and this doesn't. And 9 times out of 10, he goes, "This makes sense." And we go, "Nah, fuck yeah, we're doing the other thing." And he goes, "It's a choice, bro. Like, it's an interesting choice. Go ahead."
Basically, what he tells you is what our sax player, who's trained musically,
All right,
okay?
exactly.
He tells you the same thing. He's like, "Well, you could do it your way, but musically, it's not correct." So then you're like, "Well, I don't care. It doesn't have to be correct. It's punk rock." And then you're sitting later in your room going, "You know what? He's right."
I find the direct correlation between my mood and how much I want to disagree with Alex Hay. Like if I'm being, if I'm being a bit of a bitch and I'm feeling a bit snippy, I'm like, "Well, I don't want it to make sense." And you're totally right. Like reflexive, I'm like, "No, he was right. That should have been A minor. Fair enough. Like my bad." But he wrote this song. Without getting into the content of the song too much, I'm guessing we'll cover in a bit. He was let down by a band that he loves, and he heard this incident, which is described in the first verse, and he was very much like, "This is bullshit," and he kind of jumped straight on to Logic, jumped straight onto the instruments, and wrote this song just about how let down he felt. And I'm not sure he knew how good the hooks were. First of all, I think he was just angry, and I think they just came out. And when he sent it to me, I was like, "Oh, this is it. Like, if we change a couple little minor bits, if we develop the lyrics obviously a lot more, because that's my realm. If we then go in the studio and get the overdubs done right, and we do like an interesting mid late, this could really take side and take shape. Sorry. And I think the thing for me was like, we need to make this point without laboring the point too much in this song. It needs to be something that's obnoxious to the point that people pay attention, and hence that big hook line, the na 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 is
Yeah.
incredibly obnoxious. It's incredibly juvenile. And then even the almost the Valley Girl, "Oh my God," at the beginning of every one of the verses, like it kind of grabs your attention with how juvenile and obnoxious it is, but then the message is really strong in it. So yeah,
Tom, you might need to be the co-host here. You're breaking your own song down. I might not have, you might be the only guest in 6 years where I don't have to do any work.
Sorry, man. I'm sorry. It's the ADHD mixed in with the fact that I'm just always writing.
I'm not giving you grief. You're excited about this song. I can see it, and you should be. This song is as good of a hit, whatever that means, in 2026 as I've heard. And we do a year-end wrap on this show. Every year we go back and we have a guest come in with Chris and I, and we'll go through every song and we pick one. And this is gonna be tough to beat. This song is awesome, and I do want to jump into it now, and I do want to hear every little nuance that we're gonna get into. The song's 2 minutes and 53 seconds.
Yeah.
Pick a side. And right before we jump in, I want to ask one more thing. When you threw it in Logic and did the demo, okay, and you had mentioned, we just need to write a middle eight, a bridge for this, and maybe tie it together. Was it pretty much what we're hearing now, or did it go through a pretty big evolution?
This one didn't go through much of an evolution. As a songwriter yourself, and I was listening to the one with Bill, Descendants Bill, yesterday about clean sheets, and when a song comes out almost fully formed, you almost have to give the respect to that process that it deserves. You could change it, you can move it, fine, like go ahead, it's your lump of clay, right? But ultimately, you were probably closer the very first time that you looked at that idea than you would be after 10 different edits. So when this one came out, it would have been very easy for me to go, quick, chop and change this, move this bit about. But it didn't need it.
Yeah.
It really didn't need it. It came out into this world again as obnoxious and as pointed as it needed to be.
Yeah, and this song it's dancey, it's catchy as all get out, it's quirky, but it has this angry lyric, this tongue in cheek, all the things you started to say about it. I can't wait to start combing through the lyrics because really on the surface, this kind of just hits you over the head. It's pretty literal. It kind of is what it is, and there's some slang in here that I think I know that I'm excited to to talk to you about your Cockney slang. But the intro, we got a cool drum fill into 8 bars of the chorus progression. The drums are playing an awesome shuffle beat with bass guitar and as well as an upstroke guitar, and another is playing. It sounds like a lead melody hook. And we also have an organ tucked nicely into the mix with these big na-na-na stacked vocals with a harmony. And that na-na-na ends up being the chorus melody with lyrics, but that's tough to do sometimes. And I wanted to talk to you about that first before we move any further, Tom, is I've written hooks with na-na-nas, and then you go try to fit lyrics in, and you can't find the right words that support the na-na-nas. So did you have the lyric first and the na-na-nas came after, or how did this happen?
The lyrics came first. This time round, the hook came first. If you can't pick a side in a genocide, that was very much like, hey man, here's your point. Here's the whole crux of the song, right? And then I think the fact that the Nas just fit so perfectly under was a little bit kismet, but a little bit again, like we talked about, keeping it in the wheelhouse that it was supposed to be. So the whole song is in that, like, apart from the middle 8, it's all in that swagger, it's all in that drive. Da, na, 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 so like we didn't have to labor too much of the point to change it over to make it the hook. What we knew we wanted to do was, I think you've nailed the words. We wanted to beat him over the head with this hook. We wanted to take this hook and go, put it inside your ears and, deal with it afterwards. Because we've all been there. We've done this. We've chucked hooks in to make weight when you haven't made your point or your hook's not strong enough. You've repeated it, or you've done it with Nas or Woes or whatever. And we've all, I think, every songwriter that's got a catalogue of a few albums behind them is guilty of that at some point. This one just happened that it worked so perfectly. And again, it's the aesthetic more than anything else. It just tied into the aesthetic so perfectly with it being obnoxious, nah, nah, nah first, and then the words following after.
Yeah, and you're foreshadowing the chorus, the progression, the na-na-nas, but you're not giving away that lyric yet.
Yeah,
it is awesome.
This band of yobs storming off stage in Madrid like some bratty little kids. Cause someone threw a flag of Palestine, he lost his rag. Said don't make me pick a side. Went offline and tried to hide. Said I'm just a singer.
Oh my God. That reminds me, real quick, you just said it. It's like Valley Girl. It's like that but I Like Big Butt song.
Absolutely.
Hey, Becky, oh my God. Oh my God, I just read about this band of yobs storming off stage in Madrid like some bratty little kids because someone threw a flag of Palestine and he lost his rag. Said, don't make me pick a side. Went offline and tried to hide.
Yep, I mean it's pretty. If you know about the incident, it's pretty obvious who the band is. And Band of Yobs rhymes almost imperfectly with the band name as well. We had the band name in there all the way up into it. And we had a big debate. Do we use the band name? Do we not use the band name? And since writing it about this band, they've backtracked on their actions and they've come back and they've said, we actually do support Palestine. This is something we did wrong and first and foremost. So we kind of gave them a bit of grace for that. But this is going to get into too much of the. I don't want to grandstand. I don't want to be one of those musicians that tells everyone else how they should be living their life. Because ultimately, when I was an 18-year-old, I thought that was the way to live my life. I thought, I had to make everybody as righteous as I felt. Then you get older and you realize you don't know anything. Nobody knows everything. Everyone's just trying to survive. But the whole point of this song is if throughout all of this, if you can't see that this is a genocide, if you can't see this is an absolute atrocity that's being committed in the name of freedom and in the name of progressive politics, it's so unbelievably backwards to us that the people try to defend the other side. And bands, when they have the option to say something, we kind of are of the opinion that they should. And the whole point of the chorus, which we'll get to, is don't act like you stand for something. If all of a sudden you're gonna back down and you're gonna crumble as soon as someone asks you to stand for something, and that's what this band does a lot of the time. A lot of the time, this band, the song that helped us write this song. So I shouldn't say the song's about them. The song's not about them. They came in as a catalyst for this idea. They came in as a way to start this conversation around the whole idea of the song, and and they all of those are very literal lyrics. The first verse, that they were all exactly what he did.
Yeah, well, it's great. And let's do a little Cockney translation. Yobs, I mean, my understanding of the word, it's kind of like you're a bell end, right? If you know what that means.
Yeah, pretty much perfect. Pretty much perfect. A yob is like a loud, what do you guys call them? Yahoos?
Like obnoxious.
Yeah. Like a loud bell end, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. If you don't know what a bell end is, figure it out. And then, because someone threw a flag of Palestine and he lost his rag, later on you reference a rag, which I know what that meaning is.
Yeah.
Is this rag what I think it is?
It's a different rag.
Okay.
Sorry, Americans. Not a derogatory way of saying that a woman is on her period. A rag is like when you blow your top, when you've lost the plot. So you've lost your temper, you've lost your rag.
Gosh, how many times have I been to your lovely country and I didn't know that one? I have eight other definitions of rag. That's not one of them. I can throw it in my mental Rolodex there. Lots of cool stuff happening here in verse 1. This is a hook right here. The oh my God with the kick bass, just guitar and vocal.
Yeah,
I mean that is so simple, but it sets up each verse and. It's awesome. Was it like that from the get-go, or was that something you guys kind of zoned in on?
Similar from the get-go. It was similar, but it was punctuated more by doing less in the studio. So again, like you say, going down to the drums, bass, and vocals. And then if you listen to at the end of God, you got the drum hit. So it's like a full stop on that. So that was something that I love that part of writing. And I think one of the reasons the rest of the band will send me their ideas is because I go, yes, okay, cool. This is great. How do we make more of this? This is great. How do we shine a light on this piece of music or this phrase or this hook? And then getting in there with Cameron was wonderful. We were just like two children, two mad scientists in a lab. Like,
I'm calling it now. Look at the YouTube videos and in 6 months from now, everyone in the crowd is going to be singing that. Oh my God. It's going to be awesome. Your fans are going to love it. We get the drums, bass, and a pair of stereo guitars playing a punchy rhythm here. And on the line, because someone threw a flag, a weird new wavy kind of synth comes in and starts swirling around.
Yeah.
It doesn't take over, though. It's perfectly mixed. And it's interesting when that comes in because, when I first heard it, it was almost like, shouldn't that be louder? But it's just enough of a distraction to take your head and go, what is going on? It's so cool. How'd that happen?
So I like thinking of music often in terms of space. I think a lot of the vocals are quite monotonous, especially in the verses in this song. It's very speaky. It's very, madness or Ian Dury. And there's not much going on up here. There's not much happening to take your attention and open your brain up to the universe, right? So when that comes in and it kind of just adds a really nice like light level to bring the attention and bring the focus up to the rest of it. So it kind of keeps the song rolling through, keeps it interesting. But again, credit where credit's due. Cameron working out exactly the level of where that should sit behind it. And we had lots of these things where he was like, is this needed? Does this need to go in here? I'm like, well, fucking nothing's needed. You can smack on a tree trunk and shout the lyrics if you want to, but like it does something for me. And he's such a good producer that you listen, but he listens too. So Alex Hay, who's the keyboardist, pianist, synth writer, he's also very open to trying weird and wonderful stuff. So when we get him, we do, you know, your meat and gravy of recording bass, drum, rhythm guitar. But then when we have fun with him, having him in the studio with the synthesizers and then camera and I plugging in all the different pedals and all the different sort of decks and going, right, cool, what's going to make the weirdest sound here? What's this? How do we get this analog excitement? If we get this like lightning in a bottle, how do we do that? And this was one of those ones that we just nailed. The whole song. In fact, not to be that guy, the whole album, there's some really fun synth stuff going on. There's some
That's
really
awesome.
interesting placements too.
Yeah, you know, and it's something about the British bands with the punk bands that would like use keys and stuff. Like I always gave them a pass as an early punk rocker, but like I don't know, when any other bands, American bands would do it, I'd be like, yeah, they're using a keyboard. You know, I don't know, there's something kind of the way you guys would use it. I guess I'd use the term cheeky, you know, a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Well, we had this beautiful movement in the UK, and you know, like I mean, it was kind of mimicked across the world, but you guys were stuck with the Beach Boys at the time. We had this beautiful new romantic era where you know there were still punk bands happening, but you all of a sudden you had punk bands like the Stranglers, you had punk
yeah,
bands like the Ruts,
Jam.
yeah, the Jam, yeah, exactly, man. So you know, we were shown from a very young age you can use a keyboard. Keyboards
Yeah.
are fine. Just don't,
Right.
you know, don't ponce it up too much.
Yeah, don't be Van Halen with it. Although Van
Yeah.
Halen's cool.
Yeah.
All right, another episode. The verse one goes right into the pre-chorus, and we start getting some harmonies here, but they're not true harmonies. I call them punk harmonies. They're unison, but they break off here and there, and they're perfect.
Tried to hide, said I'm just a singer, I'm just here to do my job. But you put yourself across like the world's biggest winter gob. And when all your songs are political, make you just sound hypocritical. You won't pick a side.
Said I'm just a singer. I'm just here to do my job. But you put yourself across like the world's biggest rent-a-gob. And when all your songs are political, mate, you just sound hypocritical.
Yeah.
And rent-a-gob. A gob to me is like a yob, right? Like a
gob is a mouth. So
A mouth.
yeah. So a rent-a-gob is like, you know, a paid mouthpiece.
paid mouthpiece. I need to come take Cockney lessons from you, Tom. I need to get brushed up before the tour. The first two lines, it's kick, drum, and cymbal hits, bass and stereo guitar. Chords are just ringing out, and in the back half, we get a build up, and it begins on the floor tom, snare, and kick. Bass guitar and stereo guitars are building with 8 notes on the first line, morphing into full strumming on the back half, and the quirky synth comes back in as well. And I wrote in parentheses, fun. I love that synth there. It's like party time, man.
Yeah.
It's fun. Let's talk about this part. You know, this is almost like the way that the first couple times ring out. There's a relief happening here in a weird way. In the back half, it lets it ramp up, and then you're in the chorus. It's the perfect setup.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's something the band is we know how to do that. We write good choruses. You'll see it on the tour we do together. We're very conscious of how to write a big stadium chorus, and we're very lucky. We've had a lot of exposure to having to do that well. You know, we toured with a band called the Totenhosen in Europe. You know, and they took us to do 30,000 people back when we were playing in front of 150 people. So they saw us live and they were like, you need to come out and do some stuff with us. And we were like, yeah, okay, whatever. Bouncing Souls gave us a very similar opportunity back in 2017, 18, something like that. And Pete saw us live in Asbury Park and said, you need to come on the road with us. So the idea of knowing how to take obnoxious punk, have a 4 to the floor stuff, very simple stuff, and turn that into a big chorus that brings everyone together is something that we understood as a band we had to nail, because there are so many different songwriters. Again, just to go back full circle, you got myself, you got Carl, you got Gibbs, you got Alex, there's lots of, and I mean Bungle, the bassist, and Ebbs, they throw stuff in, but there's 4 or 5 people that can write you a song beginning to end. So there's 5 or 6 different voices in how the band should sound and how the album should sound. So in order to tie them all in together, they kind of have to go through a certain in-house filter. You go, okay, cool. How do we make the chorus this big bit? And this is a good example of that. You know, Pre-choruses are so fucking important, excuse my language, are so fucking important to having the correct lift. You know, your instrumentation, your arrangement. It's so important to make sure you got that right if you want everybody in the crowd to sing along with you.
I love how you said, excuse my language, and followed it up with another F-bomb. That was brilliant. Chorus one. Chorus one, speaking of the chorus. See, I let all my guests swear.
Sorry.
I save it for the stage, Tom. You'll hear me. Chorus one.
You decided but if you won't pick a side in a genocide, don't pretend you fight for the power. Bands will let you down, shame I like your sound. Does your mother know you're a coward? Oh my God.
If you won't pick a side in a genocide, don't pretend you fight for the power. Bands will let you down. Shame I like your sound. Does your mother know you're a coward?
Yeah, bud.
Did this chorus lyric come first and you built the song around it, or
Yeah.
it did?
Yeah. I mean, they were simultaneous. The idea of the song and the chorus hook itself, then fleshing out the lyrics, that came after. But the whole idea that was going to be based around this one particular issue and this one particular moment, and then this killer chorus, that happened first. And you know, I think one of those moments where you go, yep, that's it, done. That chorus don't need anything else. And it's so true. Like, there are so many of my bands, my favorite bands, that, you know, my favorite band of all time, apart from Cock Sparrow, has got to be The Clash. And you know, like, if not I, then who, right? So there's so many of your favorite bands out there that just kind of, and we could all do more, absolutely, but there's so many of our favorite bands out there that walked the line, that didn't say anything, you know, whilst there are schools and hospitals and stuff being bombed and people are being moved out of their ancestral home. It's horrific how many people are so worried about pissing people off, or the algorithm, and in this thing that, like, fame and being liked is going to make you a better musician, or is going to make your band more palatable, or is going to make your band, you know, have more longevity. Ultimately, at the end of the day, people are going to listen to whatever they listen to. Like, people, if they like you, they'll listen to you. If they don't want to do it, they won't. And, you know, you fence walking because of it is not the way to do it. I don't know if you've found this. Do you find it harder in the 21st century to divorce the art from the artist?
Oh yeah, that's a tough one, you know, and that's not just musicians, that's athletes, that's comedians, that's, you know, if they take a political stance that you're against, can you go listen to their records? I certainly have a few, but I also think that a lot of those folks is they've, you know, maybe they've gotten older and I don't know what's happened to them. I try to separate the art, you know, and just be like, hey, listen to it for what it's worth. But depending what the situation was, I do find it difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the same thing that a lot of people struggle with, especially if they're really passionate about the artist or the music. I think that we are, as a human race, I think we are verging, especially as Western cultures, I think we really verge and dabble with apathy a bit too much. I think it's important to care and to be present and to, you know, make and build a meaningful life. And I think nowadays a lot of people don't want their politics in their music. They don't. They're getting hit over the head with, you know, news feeds and social feeds just so full of woe and heartache, and, you know, then all of a sudden it's 17 adverts about a keto diet and how to make your dick bigger, and it's like everyone's going, well, how do I live in this space? How do I do it? So I understand if for some people they don't want this to be a part of their thing, they want to enjoy their life and get on with it. But as people, we can't with any good conscience go, we see this is happening, we disagree with it wholeheartedly. You know, you can't have the views that we have the soapbox and the opportunity that we have and not shine a light on it. So those lyrics, to go back to the original point, you know, bands will come and go. It's a shame I liked your show, you know, and bands will let you down. It's a shame I liked your sound. It's very true of how we felt at that moment.
Hey everybody, we got to take a quick break for a word from our sponsors, but we'll be right back with lots more with Tom McFaull.
Looking to elevate your music career? DistroKid is a digital music distribution service. that enables musicians to distribute their music to online stores and streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon, Tidal, and many more. DistroKid collects earnings and payments, sending them to you, the artist. With DistroKid, artists unlock a world of possibilities. From easily paying collaborators with splits to securing your music with DistroLock, DistroKid covers all bases. Plus, you can promote your releases with Hyperfollow and create eye-catching visuals with a Spotify Canvas generator, all for free. But that's not all. Introducing the DistroKid app, now available on iOS and Android. Artists can manage their releases, view streaming stats, and withdraw earnings, all from the palm of their hand. And for those looking to perfect their sound, check out Mixia. With its simple interface and customizable mastering options, artists can make their music sound polished and professional within minutes. And don't forget about Instant Share, DistroKid's newest feature. Share large files securely with collaborators, producers, and more, ensuring your music streams at the highest quality. Ready to take your music to the next level? Download the DistroKid app and explore their suite of tools today. Plus, listeners can enjoy 30% off their first year by visiting distrokid.com/VIP/DeMakes. That's distrokid.com/VIP/DeMakes.
Have you heard the Disgraceland podcast? Do you know about Jerry Lee Lewis wanting to murder Elvis? Or the hip-hop star who cannibalized his roommate? What about the murders AC/DC was blamed for? Or the suspicious deaths of Brittany Murphy and River Phoenix? These stories and more are told in the award-winning Disgraceland podcast, hosted by me, Jake Brennan, every Tuesday, where I dive deep into the dark side of entertainment and the connection between music history and true crime. Blondie's lead singer, Debbie Harry, was shocked when she saw the man's photo in the newspaper. She recognized him. How could she forget? He'd given her a ride years ago, a ride she'd barely escaped from with her life. And now, here he was, right there on the front page, accused of kidnapping and killing at least 30 women. And now, Debbie Harry finally knew his name. Ted Bundy. Follow and listen to Disgraceland on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey friends, Chris DeMakes here. If you love Chris DeMakes a podcast and you'd like to help us continue bringing you great episodes each week, please take a minute to check out chrisdemakes.com. That's where you'll find our Patreon. Our Patreon supporters get instant access to hundreds of episodes of The After Party, our weekly bonus episode that people have raved to us about for years. You can also get ad-free, early releases of each week's episode of Chris DeMakes a podcast, as well as unedited video versions of the show. Even if you're not sure if you want to sign up, you can go to chrisdemakes.com and sign up for a free account. We'll throw you a free preview episode here and there. We can't thank you enough for all the support. And if you have a few extra bucks and you want to help us keep the lights on, our Patreon is the way to do it. Head to chrisdemakes.com to learn more.
And now, back to the show.
Let me get into verse 2. We get the "Oh my God" again with that kick, that bass, and the vocal.
Oh my God, there's another friend I've lost, trying to justify mass graves, saying both sides are the same, when clearly they're fucking not. One's got rockets, the other rocks. Don't pretend it is defense when the bloodshed never ends. Said I'm a...
Oh my God, there's another friend I've lost, trying to justify mass graves, saying both sides are the same, when clearly they're fucking not. One's got rockets, the other rocks. So don't pretend it is defense when the bloodshed never ends.
Yeah, that was a very real friendship of mine that you know, when I listened to those lyrics, when I wrote those lyrics, there's a person that's very in my mind about that. And, you know, I really loved this person. This person was a good friend of mine for years and years and years. And I just couldn't understand I still don't understand how people are making a case that it's okay and was ever okay, for the genocide in Palestine to be normalized in our lives and in our media and that sort of stuff, and how protesting for it to stop, whether you believe in it or agree with it or not, whether you are, there are some wonderful Jewish people I know that think it's an atrocity. There are some wonderful people I know that support both camps. But whatever happens, when did it fucking become a thing that we would just forget about civil discourse? When did it become a thing that we could disagree with one another without it escalating to the point of violence, or in this case, mass murder and war crimes? And people, you can espouse whichever view you want, but you can't say it's defense. You can't ignore that this is happening, and it to me, it breaks my heart to see good people led down a road that they find themselves having to defend a genocidal regime, the other side of the world.
Well, this, the lyrics in this, they're scathing. I mean, that's what punk's about, and that's the first thing. These just jump off the paper at you. Verse 2 has the same overall instrumentation as verse 1, but we get a couple other cool things here. On the line, when clearly they're fucking not, the synth comes back in, slightly different and louder in the mix here. And that line, when clearly they're fucking not, it's also what I call a feature line, Tom. It's got like another vocal that comes in. There's a harmony stacked onto it. Feature lines were always kind of like in rap music. You'd have the one line where you'd have the gang thing. And of course, punks have always had gang vocals and whatnot. But little things like that. Did Cameron get involved with that? Like, we should do this or do that? Or when he was stacking vocals, and was this all the band?
He let us do it, which is the best thing a producer can do. Like, if you've got an idea for this, go ahead. If it's shit, I'm going to tell you. But like, let's hear it. A lot of I'm always writing. A lot of my home demos have all got those feature lines in them. A lot of them. I love old school hip hop as well. I come from the middle of London, so my influences aren't just punk. It's very much I like garage music. I like jungle music. Like, there's a lot of genres out there that will use those devices to highlight the words they want to say. And across this album, we've used that a lot. Excuse me. In fact, across the history of the band, we've used that quite a lot. But it's more prevalent on this album, as there is a lot more spoken word. There's a lot more, very British talking, and making a point, not hiding behind it.
Fair enough. Well, pre-chorus too.
It never ends. Said I'm a civilian, I don't pretend to understand. But there are kids being slaughtered in Lebanon, Jordan and Iran. And when all your words are pacifist stunts, like you just sound like a cunt,
Said I'm a civilian, I don't pretend to understand. But there are kids being slaughtered in Lebanon, Jordan, and Iran. And when all your words are pacifist stunts, maybe you just sound like a cunt. I knew that's what was going to come after that line. The first time I heard this song, I'm like, please have that be the lyric. And of course it was. I've said this before. There's something about people from the UK, the British and the Australians that can get away with that word. I couldn't say it in a song and have people be cool with it. I don't think.
Yeah, there's definitely a different weight when you're in the UK or in Australia. There's a different weight to that word.
When I say it, I'm just some jag off at a bar at 2 a.m. Oh, that dumb Yank American, shut up. But when you say it, there's it hits you a little harder.
Yeah, we also decided to not pull punches on this album, and as a result, it's the best album I've ever written. So we fell foul to previously trying to appease a lot of people or trying to be like more popular, and we had this wonderful moment before COVID in the band's history where we were on a really sort of meteoric rise, and it was great, and we were touring the world, and we were out for 200 days a year, and it was it was building and building and building, and then we kind of went a bit middle of the road. Like, we've always made good political statements, but I think we've always spoke a little bit in hyperbole, especially on the last couple of records. We're speaking in cliche a little bit, and one of the things I vowed to do on this one was not do that. We're moving into a stage of our life where really we like to be liked. Of course we do. Who doesn't? But we really don't care that much if it gets picked up by the right labels, if it gets picked up by the right outlets, the right sources. And I think what we're getting is a more genuine version of the band, which, hopefully will see us have a little bit more of a reconnection with some of our older fans. We keep making fans all the time, but one of the focuses for us this year coming up is to reconnect with our original fan base, like that was here in the heart of the UK.
I love it. Well, some cool stuff happening here. The first line said, "I'm a civilian. I don't pretend to understand." We get like that gang vocal, and you get it again on Lebanon, Jordan, and Iran. Same overall instrumentation here in pre-chorus 2, but we have different lyrics on the line. And when all your words are pacifist stunts, the synth is louder here. And the band builds to a stronger crescendo here than it does in pre-chorus 1. I feel like it's kind of just gets a little more ramped up here and a little more tension before we drop into chorus 2.
Yeah, it's a stronger point. It's a stronger word. It's a stronger point. It's definitely a punch in the face.
Yeah, I love it. Chorus 2 is the same overall instrumentation, but lines 3 and 4 lyrically are different. If you won't pick a side in a genocide, don't pretend you fight for the power. Bands will come and go. Shame, I liked your show. Does your mother know you're a coward? Let's talk about that. Such a strong, great hook here. You almost, it was the conversation where they're like, do we want to change the lyric? Because you want the fist pumping in the air, singing along. Why did you change the lyric?
We kept the main lyrics the same because they're the ones we want everyone to shout. We kept the hooks the same and the instrumentation majorly the same because we wanted it to be in people's heads at this point. But we also wanted to make a point that, it's great that the bands have this amazing sound and everything's edgy, but you can still let us down. Or you can be an incredible live band and you can still let people down. It's, we wanted to make the point slightly differentiated from the first time.
Well, I love it because in chorus 3, of course, is the double chorus. You get both of them back to back, which is brilliant. And I picked up on that, and I thought that was so cool. Chorus 2 on the back half. Shame I liked your show. That's a feature line again. We get another vocal and harmony that comes in there, and the stereo guitars and that guitar lick, that main hook, they come across a bit louder here in chorus 2. It's almost like it was mixed a little wider. It's not necessarily louder. They just come across as a little bigger. Did Cameron mixed the record as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
He did. Okay,
absolutely.
Fantastic. Then we get into the bridge. This bridge is awesome because it reminds me of, I don't know, I'm overhearing pub talk in Britain. It's like you got a couple pints in you, things are starting to get ramped up a little bit here. Yeah. Hence the name Bar Stool Preachers. You got Tom over there cross-eyed letting everybody know what he feels.
Me, I'm just a musician. I am asking you, because you're a politician, and Uncle Joseph is a war patrician. Put up your shorts, get ready for the mission. I don't know why I'm so surprised when we consume this daily sack of lies. From the south, the right, the hateful in disguise, and we discuss the news. As they build down from the skies. Maybe it's accountability that's lost on me. Close your eyes to the ethnic cleanse. Not my problem, not my friends. And it's 1939.
Don't ask me. I'm just a musician. That's a great line. I am asking you because you're a politician. And Uncle Joe said it's a war of attrition. Pull up your socks. Get ready for the mission. I don't know why I'm so surprised when we consume this daily sack of lies. From the sun, the rags, the hateful in disguise. And we discuss the news as they deal with the death from the skies. Maybe it's accountability that's lost on me. Close your eyes to the ethnic cleanse. Not my problem, not my friends. And it's 1939 on loop. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
But I feel like everything that you've said in this song, particularly the chorus, which says a ton, you kind of sum everything up here with what you're feeling. There's no ambiguity.
No, it's definitely an open stream of consciousness. It's definitely one of those ones where you go, all right, what am I trying to say? Close all the rest of the world out and let's make this point one last time. Let's really try and drive home the fact that this is something that is so, vitally important to talk about. And again, we can hypothesize as to why people are acting the way they are. The lyric in there, the sun, the rags. A rag in England is a newspaper.
Newspaper. I got that.
You got
got that one there.
You got one rag out of three. We're doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot in there.
Well, and I think I know the answer to this. You kind of touched on it earlier, but was this kind of pen to paper and this what it was, or did you labor on this part?
No, this was Cameron recognized in me quite early on, especially I put this down to being someone that writes a lot, but also sort of a poet and having ADHD. He kind of said to me a few times, he was like, we need to just like let the weird out. So he was like, we'll build this section. And we got to this bit of the song, and it was like, right, cool. It's doing stuff, but it's not doing enough. Like this, we need to make a whole new middle eight for this song because it doesn't tie in. It's not powerful enough. The one we had before was repeated the "Don't ask me, I'm just a musician," and then it sort of listed musicians that are sort of hidden behind this topic, and it wasn't enough for me. Like the song is so good and the hooks are so good that it needed a middle eight that was again sort of unblinking, and we built this section, and Cameron, everyone else went home. It was me and Cameron in there, and he kind of recognized again in me that like this ability to just sort of freeform spoken word, this ability to just get things off my chest and just speak and say, and he'll just roll it. And there's a lot on this album where we do that, where it's just a different section, and it becomes almost spoken word. It becomes this sort of beatnik punk poet theme rather than it being having to be a songwriter and a crafter at that point. It's really like what I want to say. I think Cameron's always trying to strive to get that bit between reality and friction, and he likes to cause this little bit of roughage, and then in that bit there's an aura of magic. There's a little layer of something to be mined there, and with with me that's never too far from the surface. So it was one time Cameron came in and he was like he was like, right, he's get weird, and as he came into the vocal booth I'd already taken all my clothes off, and I was like, right, I'm ready, let's go, man. you haven't got to push me too much, let's go. So this was one of those where I had something to say, and I wanted to say it. And credit.
Well,
to
I'm gonna be listening to this song completely differently now, Tom. Every time I see you on stage, I have to have my back turned to you, my lord.
I'll take my clothes off on tour for you, Chris. It'll be all right.
The bridge, the first couple lines, it kind of harkens back to the verse. It goes to the kick drum. It's different. It's not the oh my God, but the first two lines have just a kick. I am asking you, because you're a politician. We get a gang shout on that line. On the line, and Uncle Joe said it's a war of attrition. Tom Shuffle comes in on the drums. Guitars, keys, and bass come back in with the guitars ringing out. Pull up your socks, get ready for the mission. That's another gang shout. And then we start getting this guitar noise off to the left. And they don't sound like sirens, but they make me feel like sirens. They make me feel like this part's urgent. Like there's other stuff happening. Once again, my mind, kind of like that synth from earlier in the song, is kind of taken away from what's going on, but not in a bad way. Not like I lost sight of the lyric. That's still forefront, but the guitar stuff there is so cool. Talk about that a little bit. Were you hearing that? Was Cameron who was hearing that?
Yeah, I mean, a mixture between all of us. Again, it's that interest peaking. It's creating a soundscape without being like, I'm getting on a bus and I'm going to work, and not everything has to be the Manhattan Transfer. So it was something that Cameron really lent into that. And Carl, the guitarist, our lead guitarist, he is such a phenomenal musician. Like he can turn his hand to any style. He can turn his hand to. He's a great writer, but he can do anything. But what he was kind of flipping his wig a little bit. He was like, "What do you mean we want to make these noises?" And Cameron, and he was like, "This sounds wank." And Cameron's like, "No, trust the process, it's cool." So we got to a point where Carl was just nailing it, like take after take, song after song, and we were making these wonderful weird extra noises, and we were just looping them around and going, "Oh yeah, that's interesting enough. This one is is on the right feel of where that note should push, but there's no, you almost have to play the track behind yourself in there. And like, if you were doing it maximal and you get rid of everything else, and what would be the thing that sort of threads the needle? What's driving this section? And a lot of those noises on the whole album, a lot of that beautiful weirdness and mad scientist stuff that comes from leaning into it and going, cool, let's do something here. Let's find it now. Let's not worry about doing it later. Let's find it now. Let's go with the crazy. We've done the song. The song's great. Now, how do we make it interesting? How do we make interesting choices in the recording studio? And I love being in the recording studio because it's just like a playground. I love playing live again with the ADHD. That's good. Get me running around, get me screaming, get me jumping. Brilliant. But the studio, especially with someone like Cameron Webb, you go like, oh, we're just big kids. We can do whatever we want. Like,
that's so cool.
Let's just lean into it. So yeah.
I love that. Well, on the line, when we consume this daily sack of lies, we get some more guitar noise, and this time it's panned off to the right. From The Sun, The Rags, those two lines, those are shouts right there. Again, did you just feel that out? Like, hey, we got to emphasize these lines. It just kind of came naturally? Okay.
100%. None of that was preordained.
Okay. Right before the line end, we discuss the news. We get some guitar noise panned off left, as well as like a cool tremolo guitar that starts to happen off right. I love that the texture starts to change there. Maybe it's accountability that's lost on me. We get some more guitar noise panned off to the right. And this is also a featured line with another vocal that comes in. Close your eyes to the Ethnic Cleanse guitar noise panned off right prior to that line. We get some guitar noise off to the left. Not my problem. Not my friends. That's a gang shout. And then on the last line, and it's 1939 on loop, we get guitar noise panned off to the right before we get into, oh man, if you didn't have me up to this point, you got me now. I'm a sucker for the acapella. The harmony here is cranked. Before, it's a little subtle in the chorus is the harmonies. They're not like really forefront, like super loud. They're perfectly mixed in my opinion. But here you get the acapella cranked nice and loud. Was that the idea? Because it's so cool.
Absolutely. I mean, we do vocal harmonies very well. We're like a little punk rock Von Traps, and we that was definitely the moment for it, especially with the coming out the back of the not my problem, not my friends.
Yeah.
Big gang, like show solidarity, show a bit of union. And then you establish the fact that there's multiple people in that space telling the story. That, having that harmony be straight up and through the middle before you kick back in with the music, like that was on purpose.
It's so good. Well, chorus 3, right after that acapella, we come back in. It's a double chorus, as I mentioned earlier. We get on the first half, it's like chorus 1 lyrically. The second half is like chorus 2. Harmony is on everything, but on the back half, those na-na-nas pan left and right. They come back in, man. They're tucked underneath the lead and harmony vocals. And in parentheses, I wrote party with 3 exclamation marks. It's just when those come in, man, it's like it ties everything together because that's what you hear at the top of the song. It's brilliant.
You won't pick a side in a genocide. Don't pretend you fight for the power. Bands will let you down. Shame might let you sound. Does your mother know you're a coward? If you won't pick a side in a genocide, don't pretend you fight for the power. Bands will come and go. Shame on what you show. Does your mother know you're a coward?
Shame I liked your show at the very end. We get a featured emphasis on this line with another vocal. Does your mother know you're a coward? And then we get into the little fun at the end. I'm assuming that these were flown around later by Cameron and you guys came in. He's like, hey, listen to this. Or did you guys create this? Because it's so awesome.
And it was us. It was Alex. It went even further on the original demo. But to have the na 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 na,
yeah,
he had that in the very original, and we did it without it. And we listened to it and we went, nah, that's got to go back in. Like we missed that.
Well, I'm sorry I didn't give the band credit. I gave it to the producer. I didn't think the band could come up with something that cool. No offense. It's awesome, man. And It reminds me of, I've always been a sucker for stacked, vocals when it does something different like that. I just love it. And, it has this is probably the last thing you're thought I was gonna say today on the podcast, but it has like a Def Leppard thing for me, which I think is super cool.
That is not something I expected to hear from you, Chris. Yeah.
You'd be like, Cameron, can we take that part off the record, dude? We can't have this sounding like Def Leppard. This, come on. But no, it's from the I think it's from the British accents there. Kind of, I'm like, oh, I can kind of hear a little Def Leppard here. But man, I love the way this ends. I love how it kind of takes your ear back and forth because the rhythm gets off there at the very end. And two questions before we wrap up here. What did Cameron think of this song? Obviously, it's the first single. Did the whole band, was it kind of obvious as this is our stance? We're making a statement. Like you said, I want to be as literal. I want to be as direct as possible. I don't want to be ambiguous here with any lyrics. You're making a heck of a statement here as a first single.
Thank you. No, there was no other driver to make it the first single. We weren't doing it to try and capitalize on a moment in time or to gain more popularity or whatever by putting a song out that was topical. We literally just put all the songs in the band group WhatsApp and said who loves what songs do we want to release as singles, and this was one of the ones that everyone straight away was like, this is what we think. It's like, cool, if that's one of the things that everyone agrees on, then let's just like lead with that. Also, we knew that we had the tour with you guys coming up, and I think this is a song that your fans will really like.
Yeah.
Knowing how great of a job you guys do in the show that you guys put on, I think this would be a song to get them all involved and get them all bouncing, and that's exciting too. Cameron,
can I hide behind the curtain and do the na-na-nas in the third chorus?
Absolutely, yeah,
Okay.
100%. You know all the feature lines now. You can come out.
Wait,
and
we hear another voice. Where's it coming from? Where's it coming from?
We'll spotlight you up on the gantry. Like, I think it's Chris.
So I'm assuming Cameron loved it.
Cameron loved it. Cameron had he said he had a really good time recording this record. He really liked a lot of the choices we made. Again, he lent into a lot of the spoken word stuff that we weren't doing before, and he sort of made that a hill he was going to die on. He was like, this has to be on the record, and it's
All right.
I've never done anything like that apart from just for shits and giggles. So it was kind of interesting to do it that way. There's a few songs that he loves. There's a song called Plastic Romantic that he's like, this is amazing. This is very British. This is, everything you guys should be.
Wait a second. More British than this?
Yeah. Absolutely. Cameron kind of, he's a genius, but he's some people find him difficult to work with, not within our band. But like from outside and all the stories we'd heard that Cameron will push you and he'll go all the way. And I think that's a great thing for a producer to do. But he basically said to me, I flew over there beforehand and sat with Cameron and was like, look, here's the demos. And he was like, yeah, they're really good. They're good. And he went, but I've listened to your last couple of records and there's some like huge songs. And he said, like, where's those songs? I don't hear those songs in this batch of demos. And I'm going, well, they're right there, but fine, we'll see. And he was basically just like, you guys are so good live, but no one's ever managed to capture that on a record. He was like, there's so much energy, there's so much drive, there's so much heart, but no one's ever managed to capture that on a record for you. And he was the first, in inverted commas, real producer that we've worked with, like as an adult band, So he did a lot of that, and he was like, one of the things you need to do is you need to come home. He's like, you need to really lean into how British you are. You need to make that like part of the fun and part of the appeal is to is to show people just how British you are. So this was one of the ones that he was very excited about, but there's a few more on there that he was like, that should be a single.
So you only ate bangers and mash and fish and chips for the whole time you recorded. It had to be full British.
We went completely the other way. I don't think I had anything other than a taco for about a month. It was unbelievable.
I love it. Hey, last question. What's your old man think of this song?
He loves it. He absolutely loves it. He thinks the whole album's killer.
That's great.
There's a couple on there that he really likes. Again, you'll get a chance to hear them as they come out. But he's always quite reticent to be like, this is the one, this is the one. But there's one song on this album in particular, he's like, that's going to go amazing. And funnily enough, it's not going to be one of the ones who releases a single. So we'll see. He's always just been incredibly supportive of the whole thing. You know, he's very proud. He comes to support the band. He stands in the crowd and watches us a lot of the time. And yeah, as a soundboard, he's been unbelievable.
Very good. Well, man, this has been a lot of fun. We're going to see you very shortly in just about a month's time. So go get your tickets, lessthanjake.com. There's a very, very few left. Bar Stool Preachers, the Aquabats, Bouncing Souls, Less Than Jake. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. Winter Circus 2026. Thank you so much, Tom. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Chris. And I can't wait for that tour.
Any of our listeners that are heading to the Less Than Jake Winter Circus tour in the UK, you're in for a real treat. The Bar Stool Preachers are awesome. They're new to me, and it's always nice to discover a band that's new to you and have a whole world of music opened up to you. So that's what happened to me with this episode. And maybe it happened for some of you as well, but don't go anywhere. We got lots more Chris DeMakes a Podcast coming right up after a few words from our sponsors. Do you like music? Learning about good music and laughing at bad music? Well, I have the show for you. I'm Chris DeMakes a Podcast producer, Chris Fafalius, and my One Hit Thunder co-host Matt Kelly and I are 300 plus episodes deep into revisiting one-hit wonders to decide if they deserve a second listen or should stay safely buried in your memory. We give every artist a fair shot, roast them when necessary, and when a band or artist is actually really good, we officially certify them Thunder. And maybe someday we'll even get around to sending out those notarized certificates. Basically, it's an incredibly fun music podcast, so smash that subscribe button on One Hit Thunder wherever you get your pods.
As we near the end of the show, here's a band you might not know.
Welcome to this week's Band You Might Not Know. If you'd like your band to be considered for Chris DeMakes a Podcast, email your best song via MP3 only and a short bio to bandyoumightnotknow@gmail.com. This week's featured artist is pop punkers the Brad Marino Band from New Hampshire, who've been active in rocking stages for 10 plus years. They have a brand new album out in April called Agent of Chaos. Here's a snippet of their song, Murder and Violence.
The Wrap with Chris and Chris.
So, Chris, I wasn't familiar with the Bar Stool Preachers music, and in preparation for this episode, Tom sent over this song, which at the time of recording this is not out yet. And I texted you like, holy shit, you got to hear this song. I was very excited about this.
Yeah, this song, man, it's got a lot of cool qualities to it. You know, obviously the lyrics, the delivery that Tom gives, the Cockney British, just it sounds mean, it sounds real. This song's punk rock, but it's got that dancey. This is a dance song, man. This is I don't know. I'm going to go on a limb here. I said to him, this is going to be, I think, one in the running for best song of 2026 on Chris DeMakes a Podcast. I think this song's a hit.
I agree. So far, you know, I'm sure we're going to do a lot of other great songs over the course of this year, but I love this song. And I know that a lot of people are going to be asking this, and I was asking this as to who this song is about. I did some Googling, and they're talking about the post-punk hip-hop duo Sleaford Mods. They're like a pretty critically acclaimed duo with like tons of albums. And I think of myself as being pretty musically knowledgeable. I don't really know them, but they're who was being referenced.
I don't know them either. I was going to ask him during the episode. I didn't know if he wanted to share it. He said it's pretty obvious who it is. As you went and found out who the band was, I've never heard of them either.
Yeah. And in slight defense of Sleaford Mods, they kind of walked back what happened after the fact. So I don't know anything about their background or political leanings or whatever, but I think they kind of in a way like apologized for it or whatever. That being said, back to the accent thing, I'm really impressed that you can kind of pick out different accents within the UK. And I know I'm probably offending some people in England right now, but I guess that would be like me saying like, someone in England not being able to tell the difference between my Pittsburgh accent and someone in the South and someone from California. But I guess it's just because you've done so much touring in the UK over the years.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and the farther north you get, you start getting to Newcastle, and then before you get into Scotland, it just. I mean, there's sometimes I know people are speaking English to me, but I swear they're speaking Martian. It's like, what are you saying? And they probably think the same with me.
Well, yeah. I mean, once you get to Scotland, I experienced that where I couldn't really understand what people were saying sometimes. But we really got some real Cockney lessons in this episode. Did. There were definitely some terminology I didn't know.
We did, yeah. And I learned there's many different definitions for rag. I was educated today by Tom, but yeah, their accent. I picked up a lot of the slang Cockney stuff over the years. A lot of it was from what I said from Snuff songs, the band Snuff. They were always writing the slang Cockney references and stuff. So I've always thought it was cool.
Yeah, and got into a little bit of the talk of, do you find it hard to separate the art from the artist? Now, this is something I'm talking to my friends, and Matt and I talk about on One Hit Thunder a lot. I'm pretty terrible at separating the art from the artist. It's easy. When it's Stained or Lee Greenwood or something, I'm like, well, the music sucks anyway, so I don't really care. But when it's Michael Jackson, like, I do have trouble with that. Sometimes it's hard to separate the person from the art. I know Michael Jackson is a rabbit hole we can go down and whatever, but like, that's just an example where it's like, I still listen to Michael Jackson, and sometimes I'm like, should I still listen to Michael Jackson?
Well, I mean, if Kid Rock was a righteous progressive activist, we still wouldn't like his music, right?
Right. That's a good point.
I mean, I don't know. When he posed that, it was like, wow, because, and I said, it's not just musicians. It can go to actors and comedians and athletes and whatever else. And we've seen it, and I don't know. I think a lot of times when people do get on a soapbox, political or otherwise, for me, it is that person willing to die on that hill, and can I separate that from the music? And sometimes that's tough.
I'm a big mouth, but I'm also not a celebrity. So, I personally like when artists speak out and speak their minds about things that I think are important. But bringing it back to this song, you talked a little bit about Tom talked a little bit about how their band went from a little bit more of speaking in cliche or being more vague to being more direct with the lyrics. And Tom said, we don't care that much if it gets picked up by the right outlets or sources. It's a more genuine version of the band. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah. He wanted to go directly back to where they felt they had, cultivated a fan base. He wanted to go back and be as honest and as raw. And I think, and I've heard other bands say this, when you're able to be honest and raw and you're able to fully give yourself, he said this is their favorite album. A lot of times artists' newest record is their favorite, but he feels it's their most honest statement.
Like I said, I'm new to the Bar Stool Preachers, and in preparation for this episode, I was checking out some of their older music, some of their more popular songs, and I liked it. But then when he sent this song over, I was like, wow, I love this. So, I mean, for what it's worth to Bar Stool Preachers and Tom or whatever, like, when I heard this is when I would say, like, oh, I'm a fan of this band now. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, can't wait for the tour. A couple tickets left. Like I said, the Less Than Jake Winter Circus UK tour with Bar Stool Preachers, Aquabats, Bouncing Souls. It's going to be a awesome time. And if you haven't already, go over to ChrisDeMakes.com and check out our Patreon, where you can get episodes of The After Party. Bonus episodes for, the price of a cup of coffee a month. Help us out. Help us keep the lights on here at Chris DeMakes a Podcast. ChrisDeMakes.com. And Chris, do you have a review for us this week?
I do. I have a 5-star review from Apple Podcasts, which we encourage everyone go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave us those 5-star reviews, leave a comment, whatever you want to do. We love it. We love the interaction. This one comes from I Miss Maine Rock. Maine as in the state of Maine. I Miss Maine Rock, who left us 5 stars and said, "Don't be a cherry picker. Every episode is wildly listenable and will turn you on to songs and artists you never previously gave the time of day." Now, I like that review, Chris.
I do too, because that was the whole idea of the show. Yeah, you know, my fast lane is punk rock and ska music, but we've branched out. We've taken a couple other roads, and a great song is a great song. So thanks for your review. Keep those coming. We love to read them each week. We like to say your name here, even if it's not your real name. And I want to thank this week's guest from the Bar Stool Preachers, Mr. Tom McFaull, and we'll see you next week. Hey friends, have you been loving Chris DeMakes a Podcast? Well, spread the love by leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Don't hesitate to share what you enjoy about the show in an actual written review on Apple Podcasts. Not only does it help more people discover us, but we often read reviews in the rap segment of the show. It's a quick, cost-free way to support us and takes just a minute of your time. Your reviews mean the world to us and help us keep the podcast thriving. Thank you for being a listener, and thank you for being a friend.